Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So good morning. So before starting this webinar, I am very grateful that all of you during this busy audit season have joined. Moving ahead, I would like to tell you that this is briefly a product update call. So basically in this webinar, we are going to talk about the recent changes that we have done for our audit confirmations. This would be a 1-hour session and we'll be covering the entire setup process flow. We'll also be answering your questions. So there will be a question and answer session where you can clear all your doubts. And after the end of the session, basically the recording will be shared with you. So let us move ahead and see what are the product updates that has been given. Also at the end of the session, I would like to tell you that there is a surprise for all our paid users. And we'll discuss about it. So let's go ahead and start without any further ado, start this webinar. Before this webinar, let me understand who all have joined and we'll be releasing you few polls. I would request all the attendees to go ahead and answer those polls. The polls will be displayed on your screen. Request you to please, all of you, vote and submit your answers. I can see lots of new users as well who have joined in this today's webinar. And we also have our regular users. Great. Great. In one more second, this poll will be closed. One more poll, guys, that we would like to know more about you. This poll, we will start with the session. We are closing the poll in one more second. Great. So now the poll is closed. Thank you everyone for giving your time, for answering the poll questions. So moving ahead, what is basically the agenda of this webinar? As you might aware, we have shoot out a mail to everyone of you that there is certain changes that we have done in the process flow. So let me take this ahead and give you a walkthrough of how this change is going to be working on Firmway platform. So moving ahead, as we start with the confirmations, the process flow for auditor account setup remains the same. That is our 5-step process. That is, you will register your form. I'll just give you a walkthrough. You log into your portal, you register your form, following the process of registration, whether your company, you selecting the roles. And once you have submitted, you get an activation email to upload your member card or form card and activate the account. The second, like we can see over here, is account activation is done. We do our domain configuration. By going into our portal, there's an option you get over here, domain configuration. You configure a domain. Why do we do this domain? To send the confirmation, to ensure that as we will be shooting out confirmation in bulk for our clients, they land up in their inbox folder. So for this purpose, we configure our domain. We, with the help of our IT team, that is your IT team, you publish the records. The fourth process that we follow over here is adding users and configuring sending emails. Let us understand what is this as well. So we manage our users under the settings tab. In case if there are multiple users in your firm, you go and add them, giving them the assigned role. That is by creating a sub-user. The email address, first name, last name, mobile number is optional. You choose the role that you want to assign. If they are partners, you give them the admin role, because as for the admin role, it will ask you the membership number. For the portal manager, in case there is someone who's handling the entire process but will not be initiating the sending process or etc., you can give the portal manager role. In case if there is a person who is just responsible for preparing the file and uploading the file, you can give them the role of a preparer. And the person who will also prepare the file, upload. So who is this authorizer here? He can prepare the file, upload the file, send the file, and keep a track of the responses as well. So based on your requirement for the user that you are assigning, you can give the role. Once our role is done, we go and update few changes from which email ID we are going to send the confirmation from. That is the same process flow is followed. We go and configure the sending email ID and they get an activation email. You click on that link and come here and update status and the ID is updated and it's a success. So basically the auditor process flow, that was the 5-step process flow, remains the same. There is no changes that has been currently done for our auditor setup process flow. Now, let us check what. So as I'll tell you, the auditor account setup remains the same. Here, the major changes have came into our client setup process flow. So let us have a summary, how it was before and what were the changes that has been done today. As you are aware, as we have our regular users as well joined in, they might be aware that we first used to separately go and create an account for the company, for that is for your clients. We used to go on the Firmway portal, register them. They used to take the authority letter and then activate the account. Later on, we used to create authorization, that is the linking of the account. We used to log into our portal under the confirmation tab. There was an option authorization. We used to select the entity, select the audit type, branches, audit period, etc., and then link the account. And the process flow followed the same. That is, we used to upload, later on commit the file. Then we used to wait for the basically client verification. They used to then verify we have to wait for the client to go log in, verify the file, etc. And then only we were able to configure the settings and send the confirmation. So this was what I was talking about, the old process flow that we followed. But now this process flow has changed. What are the changes? Let us know. So the first change that has come up here is manage client in auditor login. Now, what does this mean? Here, you can log into your portal and you can add clients from your same login. You do not have to go separately register the client. You can add the client in your own login. That is managing all the clients in your firm's login. Under the settings tab, you get an option, manage clients over here. Once I click on that manage client, here can be the 3 scenarios. So we are going to talk about the 3 scenarios that we can do over here. First scenario would be if we want to onboard a new fresh client, which is never registered on Firmway. You go under the tabs manage client. Here you have 2 options. If you're just importing one client, you can click on add client. You have an option to import multiple client at once. So once I click on import, let's see what happens. We get an option to download the template to bulk upload the data. How that data look like is this way. So basically there are few details we required from your end. That is the PAN number, the client name, whose PAN number it would be, the client's PAN number. PAN details, the contact person of the client, mobile number is optional. Who would be the partner you want to assign for this particular client? Who is the reviewer? Who is reviewer? Reviewer means our authorizer. So which authorizer you want to assign for that particular client? If you have a preparer in your organization as well, so you can assign that preparer to the email IDs. Here are the few steps that I would like to explain you. What is one-time client authorization? Let us go back to our screen, which gives us a good visibility. For an example, I'm onboarding a new client. So what would be the details that would be required? Like I told you, the PAN number, client name, contact details, the team members that we are assigning, and the client settings. So here is where the major changes that we have done. Now it's up to you whether you want to involve your client or not. For example, we have an option over here, one-time authorization. What is this one-time authorization? Basically, if you want to take the approval of your client for only one time that you are going to initiate the audit confirmation for them, then you take this as a required and you select required over here. In case if you do not want any one-time authorization from client, you click as not required. So what happens if I click on required? In case if you click on required, the client will be getting a mail for one-time authorization. As you're able to see my screen, this is how the mail will be triggered to the client. That the particular client name, and this would be your audit firm name, has requested for one-time approval to send audit confirmations for Meena Limited. Once he clicks on approve, we will ask him who is the person approving, and he has to submit his OTP verification. By filling these details. So it's up to totally optional and up to you. If you want this to be there, you can click as required. If you do not want it, keep it as not required. Now we have transaction authorization over here. What is this transaction authorizer? As the old users might be aware about the process flow, that there was a process where client has to verify the file. That was, we used to wait for the client's approval. So this is our transactional level authorization. In case if you require this process to be there, you come over here and click it over here as required. In case if you do not want any approval for the upload that you have done from the client end, you select it as not required. The third option is a maker checker control. As you are aware, we had previously commit, authorize option. So in case if in your firm, there is a preparer is different and the authorizer is different, we would suggest that in case you want the maker checker to be there, you click as required. If you do not want any this process flow of commit and authorize, so basically authorizer to be involved, you can skip this process and keep it as not required. So even the maker checker has become an optional for you. The fourth and the last one is client portal access. What is client portal access? So here, previously we used to register the client and the client's login ID used to be created. And they also had an option to log in and check the details. This is where this picture comes in the scenario. Do you want to give an access to the client to view the details on the portal? If yes, you click as yes. If no, you click no. In case if you click no, client would not have any access to whatever confirmations you have rolled out, what is the status, etc. In case if your clients insist so, and you want to give the access, you click on yes. They get an activation email to create their password and the login credentials is activated. So this was basically how we have migrated from the old step to the new step. In case if you do not require any of the above, click not required in all the options. So there is zero involvement of the client and no communication is triggered to the client at all. Moving ahead, I would like to tell you this is the process for basically email attachment, where we recommend you that if the client has provided you an authority letter, please ensure that you attached over here the same. So this is not a mandatory step that you have to attach and then only you'll be able to upload, but this is a suggestion and recommended steps to perform. You can attach the authority letter, authority bank letter, and any bank format over here of yours. We have also beside the samples, which can be downloaded for your reference purposes. Once you have completed the above process, You can just click on submit and your new client is onboarded. Now, this was the one scenario where you are going to upload a new, client, onboard a new client. What about the client which you have already previously basically onboarded on Firmway? What about them? Let us see that as well. So basically, when you log into your portal, you get an option to migrate your client. So this is for scenario number 2, where you have already previously onboarded your clients and what to do about them. So they have gone nowhere. They are in your login itself. All you have to do is migrate, where you have to reply for the certain questions or set certain settings, whether you want a transaction authorization for them, whether you want to make a checker, and click on migrate. In case if you're not getting this migrate option and you want to see the settings or change the settings for your old client, just go under the manage client and all your previously onboarded client will be displayed. That is, we had created the authorization for previously. All these clients will be displayed over here. All you have to do is just click on the edit button over here. Since we have already linked this account previously, one-time authorization only if it is required, do it. If not required, keep it as not required itself. And you can control all the other settings from here itself. You can add the reviewer. Basically, reviewer is the authorizer. You can add the preparer. Please ensure that migrated clients have a party letter attached. So reattach the letters over there. Once you reattach the letter, you can just click on update and accordingly the changes will be done. This was the second scenario. Now comes a scenario where you might come across cases like this. For example, I'm onboarding a client currently on my portal. I click on add client. You put your PAN or license number, whichever is applicable for you. As if you are abroad, you can put the license number. Or if you're basically an Indian state, so you can put the PAN number over here. I'm onboarding the client. And while moving ahead, I get this option that the client already exists. That is, this client is already registered on Firmway platform. Now what to do in this case? So you get an option over here that if the client is already existing on Firmway, that is registered on Firmway, but not yet linked with your account, you just click over here as yes. You click over as yes over here. All the details of that client which is registered on Firmway will be displayed, and all you have to do is do the required settings. That is, who would be the partner, who would be the reviewer, and the preparer. The client settings that are required, whether one-time authorization you require from that client, like as required, if not, not required, and the other settings, that is your transactional level, maker checker, client portal access, authority letters that you have with you, etc. And click on submit. That client is successfully onboarded. So like I told you, these three scenarios would be the one that you'll be facing. And it is controllable. And I hope now you are aware that how to handle all these scenarios. I would like the reviewers, so basically the attendees, to please come up with a question. If there is any question in this particular setup of the client onboarding, kindly let me know, so that if we do not have any question, we can move towards the step of sending the confirmations. Any questions anyone would like to ask? We'll wait for 2 seconds. If we get a question, we'll answer that. Otherwise, we'll assume it as good to go and move ahead. Just a quick question. I hope my voice is audible to everyone. If yes, just raise your hands. Great, great. Good to know that my voice is audible. So since I'm not getting any questions out here for the managed client, I'll assume it as everyone has understood, and we can move ahead with the further steps. So here, once we have done all the settings, let us understand what would be the sending process flow. So moving ahead, I'm taking you towards the sending process flow. So the sending process flow remains the same. We click on upload. That is the upload process that we used to previously follow, the statutory audit, what type of confirmation we are sending, the company we are sending it for, if they have any branches, and what would be the date of confirmation. So this process of uploading remains the same as the previous one. We select the authorized, that is the partner that we have assigned. We upload our file that we have prepared. And we upload it. Since this is a preparer login, the preparer is uploading the file. Everything seems to good to go. We'll click on next. I'll click on next. And here, let me tell you the maker checker option, that is the commit and authorize option, we have kept it as required. So the preparer will do the settings, upload the file, select from which email they are going to send it from. Going to set an email template as default. Any contact person you want to give, you provide. If not, leave the column as blank. Ensure to attach a party letter that we have uploaded over there. That is our email attachment. We are going to set the reminders basically over here. We have a reminder grouping on what interval we want the reminders. Do we want 5 reminders on interval of 3 days? That is, in every 3 days, 1 reminders will be triggered, up to 5 total. Or 7 days, or just 3 reminders in an interval of 3 days. The most recommended one is the 5 reminders on interval of 3 days. Since it's a testing, I'm selecting as no reminder. I'll move ahead once the reminders are set over here. Now you see require authorizer review we have created as required, and client approval. We'll select the client whom we want to send it for, and we will send it for review. So basically, I'll tell you here, as since we have kept the maker checker as yes, and we have also kept client approval, that is, this is a transactional level approval as required. That is the verify step that the client used to do. If we have click over there as required, accordingly, it will ask to choose for which contact person we want to send from the client side the approval for. Then we send it. So where it goes, optional. Optional, it is optional. So now once we go, the preparer has uploaded the file successfully. Since we have done the maker checker as yes, now the auditor has to log in and approve the file. He will go under the track. As you can see, it is awaiting auditor review. He will check if everything seems good to go. This is an authorized step, which we used to follow in previous process, which is now optional. and click as mark as reviewed. In case if you have selected as no maker checker, this step can be skipped. The file is approved. The third is we have kept yes for the client approval on every transaction. So what happens if we keep it as yes, clients get an email to approve the request. They'll check the details. They can just click verify and approve. So this email is only gone to the person whom we have selected over there Meena while sending. Once the audit is approval has been given, submitted by the client, this step is optional and can be skipped if you have kept your client authorization on transaction level as not required. So this step as well is optional. Once he does, the client gives the approval, the confirmations are automatically rolled up. You will be able to just see on the screen that you do not have to click any send button, any etc. schedule button. That particular once the client gives the approval, if we have done it as required, the confirmations are rolled out automatically. Any questions on this step that anyone would like to ask? Okay, so we have a question over here that we have now. Do we still need to authorize the company like we used to? So I would like to tell you that here, as you remember, in the authorization step, it has become optional. In the settings, this authorization step is our one-time setup approval that we require. So it has become optional. If you go over here and you check the details, this is that authorization step. It is optional. Either you require or not required. I hope the question has been answered. Any more questions in the sending process that anyone would like to understand? Please, attendees, raise your questions because then only we'll be able to answer. Okay. So I think we'll wait for 2 more seconds. In case if we do not get any questions, we'll move ahead with what happens after sending the confirmation step. I think we're good to go. We have not yet received any questions, and I'm assuming that everyone is well aware what will happen with the process flow of sending as well. Okay, so we're moving ahead with the third step, what happens after sending. So the process after sending as well remains the same. That is, the responder will be receiving an email to reply to. So basically, this is a standard template that the responder would be receiving. He clicks on click to respond and a window is open, where particularly he gets to know that basically to whom this email is addressed to, from whom, and who is the auditor for this particular organization. What is the request? What is the amount? Now, based on his accordingly books, whether he can select his amount is correct or amount is incorrect. If he selects amount is correct, nothing extra to be done over here and he can move to confirm. If he selects the amount is incorrect, he gets an option to fill the details that what is the correct amount. And so basically, if he clicks the amount is incorrect, he can move ahead. And we give them an option to reconcile any differences. If not, he can just directly submit and skip this step. So this is the verification process that we ask, that who is the person who is going to respond to this confirmation. And designation. Basically, they'll get a verification code. Let us check what the verification code is basically. Once a verification code is given, you can go ahead and submit the responses. For their reference as well, they can download a copy and you can just log into your portal and under the confirmation tab. So the tracking process remains the same as well. There is no changes. I click on view. So in case any party that has responded will be displayed on screen with the statistics. So this was the response process. Any questions on this? So yes, we do have a question over here that while sending the confirmation, whose ID is required, whether the clients or the auditor? So here's a valid question. So basically, whoever's domain is verified, that is, in case you are going to send the confirmation from your ID, that is your firm's ID, and your domain is verified, our suggestion would be to send from your email ID. Okay, so once you click, so in the email configuration, you configure that particular email ID and send the confirmation. In a scenario where you want to send from the client ID, we would request you to get in touch with the support team. Since the domain is not verified, the support team will guide you how to take this ahead. Questions over here till this part? Okay. So I guess here we are clear in the sending and configuration part. So I would just like to give you a brief exactly about this tracking process as well. So you get to know what exactly the tracking process can be done. So basically you'll be able to see everything on the screen itself, how it was previously. There are no changes over here and the process remains the same. In case you want to download it all together, all the responses of what is their current status, go on more action tab and there is an option to download a summary report or a detailed report. The difference is summary report is downloaded on the screen itself with no attachment that the responder had attached. And the detailed report goes on the email with the attachments. So this is the process of the sending. However, here is one thing I would like to highlight all our regular users and who will be using the portal as well later on, to all our new users and regular users. In case if you have before, as since this is a transition done in between of the period of audit, in case before this transition you have uploaded any file and kept it and was waiting for the client approval or waiting for the auditor's approval, etc. Whatever the scenario, this can be the scenario. You have already created that account, linked that account, and already uploaded the Excel file for them. If this is the case, I would request you to re-upload that file First, go and do the settings that is required in manage clients, and go under the confirmation tab and re-upload that file. Delete the old one. You'll get a notification while sending it as well. Just for the information purpose, delete the old file, upload that same file again, and the new process as per the will be followed. So this was a quick tips here. So this was the basically the process flow of the transaction that has been done on the Firmway platform. We'll wait for 2 seconds. So I would request all the attendees, if till now what I have explained, any questions on the start to end process till now, please raise. We'll wait for 2 seconds for your questions and then move on with the surprise that we had for our paid users. Okay, so we do have one question over here, that if client approves the confirmation, from which ID the confirmations are rolled out. So let me tell you and take you back to the process flow where the preparer has uploaded the file. Here the preparer had uploaded a file. This is where the settings pages are. So as you're able to see the screen, whichever email you have configured over here, the emails will be triggered from that email ID. So basically, you can see it on the screen, the preparer, whichever settings were done over here. It doesn't matter if you have kept a maker checker, you have kept basically client approval as required. The emails will be triggered from whichever email ID has been created, that is the chosen over here while sending the confirmation. I hope this is clear. Okay, guys, I guess since there is no more questions and this was the last one, we can move ahead with the surprise that we will be able to basically for our paid users, especially that we have done it for. So let me share my screen to you. So I'm very glad to announce that Firmway has initiated a reward session to all its paid users where all of you can win Amazon vouchers up to 10,000 rupees. So basically, what is this Amazon vouchers? Let us get into deep what is the requirement for winning. So please listen closely. So the top users who send the highest number of confirmations, the review period would be from 1st April 2022 to 31st March 2023. This will be the period that will be considered under what is the highest number of confirmations sent by whom during this period. So any top 3 users who have sent the top number of confirmation using their login credentials can win up to 10,000 Amazon vouchers. The first winner, the second winner can win up to the 7,500, and the third up to 5,000. So this is a totally win-win situation over here. So I would request all of you to start sending all the confirmation for a client. Even as you might be aware, Firmway also allows you to send MSME confirmation for your clients. So use this basically time to send the confirmation for them. Then start sending MSME, start sending bank confirmations, and get reward yourself this time. This was the first scenario where you can win the prizes. The second scenario is we do have a reward for audit firms. So even the firms can have have got an entry in this prizes. That is, in case if you have automated 100, you have totally 100% achieved 100% automation in your firm, that is used your 100% limit, the contracted quantity that you had subscribed for, you will be getting, top 3 firms will be getting 10% of the contracted value price Amazon vouchers. And the review period is the same. So please, I would request all the attendees who have attended this session today, rest assured we'll send you this rewards criteria after this webinar on a post-webinar email as well. And get your reward, please get your reward, yourself rewarded on 10th April 2023. The prize date will be released on that date. If you have any query regarding these prizes, etc., get in touch with our support team. Post webinar, you'll get the email in that the support team number will be also there. So let's use this opportunity and utilize and achieve the goal of 100% automation and start using it for all our clients. Onboard your clients quickly, because now the process has become very easy. You have skipped the hassle of taking the client's approval, registering them, etc. Everything can be done in a click of your hand on the portal itself and in your login. So start onboarding it and utilize it for all the confirmations, that is bank, even the balances. And as you are aware, I hope you guys are aware and have attended the last webinar. So we have an auto capture also in case if someone replies you on the email. That stress is also over. You can directly use the auto capture feature and forward that mail and get it captured. So everything has become a smooth flow. Here, I would like to thank all of you for still staying till date and listening to me. Before ending this webinar, I would like to publish few polls and require information from your end. So please request you to vote. Here is your first poll on the screen. So please quickly tell me, when are you guys planning to roll out the confirmations? I can see there are February, March, post-April also certain people are trying to roll out. I would suggest that to people who are planning to roll out post-April, start sending confirmations for your client now itself, so you can skip the hassle of the March ending that we usually face as a tight schedule. Great. In 1 more second, we'll be closing the poll. Great. One last poll, guys, on your screen. Here, I am requesting you to please vote sincerely. How is you will be rating the new update that you guys have got? Great, great. Good to know the answers. Everyone is happy, it seems, the new update that we have given. I would especially thank all of you guys, because this was possible only because of your feedback. We were able to bring this change only because of your valuable insights and understanding your difficulties faced. Thank you so much. We are closing the poll. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending this webinar. Rest assured, the recording will be shared with you. In case if you still have any queries, get in touch with our support team. Immediately, we are going to respond. There is a chat support as well. Raise your questions over there, and we'll get in touch with you. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone.